now we have, this is here, that's in the program, we have this teaching called mind training, Lojong. Practice. Yes, I think there's some of the nice 7-point mind training, isn't it? First, maybe you should see what are those 7 points. First is studying. As a prerequisite, preliminary, what to practice. Is 1 point. Studying, listening, understanding all the topics that what we have to practice. That's the 1 point. After studying these all, the second point is actual the practice like the bodhicitta, training of the bodhicitta. The third one is curing the unfavorable condition as a path towards enlightenment. And the fourth one is that what we had studied, practice, continue entire life. Within one lifetime to just practice. And the fifth one is the measurement of that mind training. Yeah. Now, how you know that your mind is trained? So the measurement of the mind training. And the sixth one is the commitment of the mind training. What kind of commitment? Things that we have to keep in the practice. And the seventh one is the advice, the different advices, or the training advices of the training of the mind. So these are the 7 points. So this is a very vast subject, and it's very, very important. It is said this kind of practice is so effective in this degenerated time. Our mind is so wild and so arrogant. Even ourselves know that. We want to peaceful mind. We want to have want to be a good person. But the mind is so wild, so arrogant, doesn't allow, the way we want to be. And we try anything. We do many different school training. There are some that try everything, still make success. Because the mind is want to move. I think that. So that's how first goes. So now first it's very important. Even though we have here many practitioners who have studied quite a bit in the last 10 years or more. Before that, I read many books and studied, practiced quite well. But still, there are also some people. And of course, Dharma is we can always read again and again, lesson again and again. Because it reinforces, it refreshes. As Buddha said, the monk who studied for 100 years should still study the monk who is studying from today. So every day we should start as a beginner. Every time when we do practice, we should be as a beginner. It's not that beginning of the beginner as a beginner of the understanding, but Allah is as a beginner of our practice. We have been studying for many years. Still our mind is not quite well established. Isn't it? So see, That's why I was starting from that beginning. So, kind of reminding, refreshing. But all this means first as a prerequisite, as a foundation, first kind of study what to be trained, how to train, like that. So it's this mind training is specifically a method taught in the Katamba, Atisha lineage, and Kambupa, Dharma Lord Kambupa, who studied thoroughly from this lineage, that was Pamutovas and Chicken Sangun too. In your chicken Sangun, we started from the father, the wedding, but that's a Katamba great teacher. So we have these two very important streams leading from Katamba, all these mind-training aspect teachings, and from Minerva, all the Vajrayana type meditation practices. But these two big, complete stream of the Buddha's teaching, and that we have to release and study, practice. There's always there's empathy for contributions. We have the precious human life. The precious human life, what we have, that as you see there, is the precious human life. This is free from the 8 unfavorable conditions. If we are any one of the 8 unfavorable conditions, we have no access to study, practice study, like being born at helter, or being a hungry ghost, or animal, any type of animal, or born in a barbarian places, or who have a wrong view in the Dharma teachings, or who's a mute or mutable brain, often or born in the wrong life thought or godless, physical godless. Or who had born in a time where there's no Buddha, or Buddha had not manifested. That if you are born in any one of these conditions, become that Dharma. See? So that's why it's called, we are free from the 8 unfavorable condition. Leisure, who has a leisurely, who has the opportunity to start practice Dharma. And who has 10 endowments, 10 opportunities, being born as a human being, where there's a Dharma teaching to study practice, who has all the presence of the senses, the organs. No Dharma, meaning, where does Dharma meaning oversung to these 3, and who have not committed any of the 5 heinous crimes. Many is oversung, latamale, negative. The 5th one is have devotion to the Buddha Dharma Sangha. If any one of them is not there, you cannot practice Dharma. Has to have all these 5. Then the other 5 from outside, Buddha has to appear on this plane, or should have, or must have. Once Buddha appeared, must to talk the Dharma teachings. Then Dharma was taught to be continued. And there's Dharma practitioners, and there's supporters. Supporter means that we get support. For example, when you do like this kind of retreat, we have a kind of shrine when pays to study, to practice this. If these are not there, we can do. So this so it's called to have the aiding favorable condition. Not easy. If any one of them is missing from the 18, we have no access to start to practice now. To have all these 8. It's not enough just being a human being. So just see that's called the rarity of the human life. So rare. This all is there due to all the virtuous positive conditions that we created. It does not happen without cause, without condition. It didn't happen coincidentally, by instantly. It happened due to this, due to many gathering of positive cause, virtuous cause. That's called why it's so rare. For example, if one is born in an animal world, there's very few chance to be born as a human. Because they don't have any access to understand what's virtue and non-virtue. They have no sense of that. Because of that, to be born as a better condition is difficult. Human body is production of the many buses, causes. Sometimes we may not feel how this came to so virtuous body, I feel miserable, But still it is much better than a lot of things, So now it's for that kind of is first we have to see this how it's rare, first have to see rare. It's very important how rare it is. But we say, yes, it is so rare, but what's the special there? Question the ask, why they so it's maybe there's something that's very rare, but what is the special? What is the specialties there? It's so precious. So rarity and preciousness of the human life. Why it is so precious? Once we have this kind of very rare human life, and we get all the excellent opportunity to know what's right, what's wrong, what is samsara, what is nirvana, what's enlightenment, what really the cause of the happening, what's the cause of Satan. All that, to study, to practice, all that is there. It's there, and that human life has all the opportunity, all the possibility to sort out all that, or to end actual life. No other life has that. That's also precious. It's so rare that we should enjoy. It's so precious that can grant all the wishes. So it's rare and precious. So in this human life, there are called 3 persons cognition, three persons, three different levels of the person who has the capacity. The lesser capacity person, and the mediocre capacity person, and supreme capacity person. Even who has a very lesser, very little capacity person, that still has a quality to be born back as a human being, or in the higher realm, in the karka, the human realm. No other has that. And who has a capacity of the middle, a mediocre, has opportunity to free from samsara as the arhats or patik Buddha. And who has the greater capacity, the person who has a great capacity has the opportunity to attain Buddhahood. All these qualities there. That's why, so we should also note the three capacity of the person. That how we, what does mean is we study through the subjects of the impermanent suffering of samsara, karma and result, loving kindness, compassion, bodhicitta, these are necessary to practice. So we first have to reflect to our precious human heart. How it is so rare, and how it is so present. We do reflect on this. That way, we rejoice to ourselves. We appreciate ourselves. It lifts the mind from kind of darkness to the light. It brings the mind from the darkness to light, to see, to recognize who you are, what kind of quality we have. The building of competence is one step. Very necessary. It's not out of arrogance, out of ignorance, but these are, we dispel our confusion out of wisdom, out of reason. The reason to see that, how it is rare, how it precious. Just out of arrogance, or you should feel so good yourself. That's not so much reason there, It's just out of arrogance to make your ego stronger, that much. But this is not built out of ego, out of arrogance, but out of reason. Recognizing who you are, that I'm the right place. It's again not a way to look down others, but it's a way to appreciate yourself, rejoice yourself. And because there's a reason, from this we can develop great compassion, great wisdom to others. When we have that recognition of how rare is precious human life, then in the second step, you should learn how to utilize it in the best way. It's not enough that I have this rare and precious human life. It's not enough just feel that. It's like a boat, like a ship, like an aeroplane to cross the other shore. Even we have this, but if we don't use it, nothing special. This nature is impermanent. That's the subject of decay, momentary. So we study how everything is temporary, momentary. Very delicate state. So study of impermanence is one of the very important for reflecting on the precious human life. Is getting wisdom how to utilize the human life in the best way. Create all the virtuous cause. Studying, practicing on the impermanence is not attached to this life. It is momentary, subject of change. And while realizing that, philosophy, or what you say, nature, allow us to practice the mind attachment. Live with moment to moment. We learn how to live moment to moment. Work hard. All these things outside the whole world seems like a permanent, seems like very substantial, but they are so momentary, subject of change. Especially these are all sentient beings, human beings, our life. So fragile. Every moment when we have this life, we should appreciate. Even though it's so fragile, so delicate, but I have this kind of the continuity of this life. I'm grateful. As Nakajima mentioned, should I look the quotation here and there? This life is like a bubble which is in the middle of the storm. It can be finished any moment. So it says how wonderful that we get opportunity or chance to breathe out and breathe in, and go to sleep and get time to wake up in the morning. Let's say when you breathe out, if breath doesn't come back, you're finished, How strong you may be, how powerful you may be, but if the breath doesn't come back, finish. That's what is thinking about, meditating on it. So sometimes we just meditate. Meditation on the impermanence of death. Maybe most of night, but it's good, So one day I will die. That's sure. Everyone knows that, isn't it? One day we'll die. And who knows when death will come. If we really can't kind of meditate well, we have no confidence not to die tonight. Whatever. See, can you give a sign? Can you give me a definite confidence that give a signature that tomorrow you won't die? I don't know. You say that? So that kind of there. But we plan to live for many years. 10 years, 15 years, or more. But we have no confidence to live even in next few hours. We hope to live. We want to live, isn't it? This is how it goes. There are some great teachers, those who are practicing impermanence. Some great teachers said, in Tibet, what do people die? Their cup, their marked cup, when the person dies, the cup put on the table upside down. So when the cup is upside down, the person is dead. In the West, we don't have that, In Tibet, if your cup is upside down on the table, they think this is bad sign, In here, for cleaning reason, you cup is upside down, isn't it? Oh, that's all the cup to the cup, So what they do, great practitioners, before they go to sleep in the evening, their cup is upside down, put on the table. Who knows, tomorrow I'll get time to wake up or not. Practice of impermanence. Just make ready to die. And in the morning when they get a time to get up, or they're alive, then they appreciate, another day, I appreciate. I would use this day in the best way, and open the cup, and drink tea or whatever. I got another day to use this cup. So that is like that moment. To like that, we need kind of practice of impermanence. And this is scientifically, it is true. Everything is full momentary. Full momentary. Scientifically does not mean like the modern science. Scientifically means where, how, then, can't teach you that. Good night. In one way, it looks very miserable, living, like thinking of impermanence, like this, very sad, like that. But in reality, when you practice this way, I think so. Very peaceful. Because the past, it's not here. Future has not come yet. So we just live moment to moment. Very peaceful. And our mind is full, and our mind has all the strength. The full strength is there at this moment to practice. So this is also way. It's a philosophy of whole phenomena, and it's also how to practice impermanence. Make all be able. This is showing not to waste time. Not wasting time. Just every moment utilizing in the best way. Like that, and work hard. Both will make effort for other life, not just for this life. In this middle of the impermanence, in the samsara, while we're in the samsara, or state of suffering, suffering is like a wheel, endlessly manifest, one after another. individually or generally. Generally in the samsara. Any country these days you've seen, the suffering is no end. The conflicts are, if not worse, not getting better, isn't it? No matter how you try, no matter how government try to end the suffering, to end the conflict, not possible, isn't it? See? They try everything. Try to use all the possibilities. But it's not getting worse. It's not getting better, isn't it? We see that. Everybody wants to free himself. Politically, business-wise, spiritually. Politicians are active because they want to free from suffering. Or the business people, they are so active because they want to free from suffering. Okay. So this, this opens our kind of mind, kind of universally, not just in one, just in one subject. It opens whole total, see everything, spiritually, non-spiritually, so that the main focus is to have more happiness, more peace. Yet, no matter what kind of you achieve in the samsara, still you are not free from suffering. So that that is kind of the nature of the samsara. And when we open the heart to whole universally, entire samsara, it helps us to know that it's not just a Buddhist belief. It's not just one religion's tradition or culture. It's the culture of whole samsara. It's the tradition of samsara. In each of the 6 realms is, there are books there, like the jewel ornament of liberation. There's all those details explained, all the different state of samsara, the different types of suffering, general suffering, individual suffering. General suffering, we don't get what we want. We get what we don't want. Everybody's same, isn't it? And within that, individually, there are different types of suffering. Pervasive suffering, we should say. The moment when we are born, we're in the state of suffering. That's called pervasive suffering. Yeah. We are born with suffering, and we die with suffering. The beginning of the life, the end of the life. Isn't it? And then in between we try all the effort to have happiness, isn't it? So, suffering is pervaded. Means, like, as soon as when we have this 5 skandha body, this, this nature is suffering. It's called afflicted skandha. We make all the effort, work so hard, sacrifice a lot of things for this skanda. To please this skanda, would not so successfully. So that pervasive suffering. Whether suffering is obvious, not obvious. Basically, suffering is pervaded. We're ready to manifest. Was just there. Not free from suffering. Even we get what we want, still not free from suffering. Pervasive suffering. So this is a very subtle wisdom that Buddha taught that we should know. All other things we are just looking for temporary happiness. Have no profound wisdom to know the pervasive suffering. To know pervasive suffering is very difficult. Has to have very profound wisdom. In the jewel ornament of liberation mentioned here, a piece of hair, if you put in your palm of the hand, you won't feel any feeling of uncomfortable. So pervasive suffering is like that. You won't see that it's a suffering. So ordinary people are like a palm of hand. They cannot recognize that it's a suffering. But that very piece of hair goes to your eye, and you feel so uncomfortable. So the enlightened beings like I, they feel uncomfortable with pervasive suffering. So what we're practicing to uproot total suffering, not for looking as the suffering of change, the temporary happiness. If we go more profoundly, more deeply, then we can appreciate how this Dharma teaching is so profound, so great. No? We're not comparing with anything, but just we have to know. We have to use our own, since we're talking about the precious human life, that's what's called precious human life. Precious human life has such a mental quality to go deep into this meaning and penetrate there. No other life can do that. So see the total nature of the suffering of the samsara. Not just make free from the temporary suffering. To free from temporary suffering, anyone does. Even small buck, they're running here and there. They're looking for a better place. And they also get sometimes a good place, A safe place, isn't it? But they cannot free from total suffering. Now, we human beings, we have to look to free from total suffering. To that we need to take time, patience, wisdom. That's called patience, real. Go deeper into the meaning, making effort, put strength. That's called perseverance. That's called patience. So this, usually I say like these precious Dharma books written by enlightened beings are the real good newspaper to read. Because in this book they're written details about the suffering.
all the conflicts, what is going on in the hell realm, what's going on in the Holy Ghost, what's going on with the animal, human beings, they may God guard them, not just one small city, Give this reading by this book give us total information of the entire samsara. So read this newspaper, And they are repeating the same thing, Repeating the same thing. Even you read it in the daily newspaper, repeating the same thing. Sometimes the accident, or that happened, that happened, same thing, So when you read these Dhamma books, whole samsara is looking in your palm. You look here, just this is samsara, I know it. So we should know what kind of book we should read, Sometimes there are some little interesting thing book, maybe they are written by enlightened beings of much more profound, penetrating more deeper than anything else. So this is suffering, this nature of suffering of samsara. That itself gives us such great wisdom to know. Not just as a partial, but whole total. Give us such wisdom to know the total nature of the samsara. The next thing that may suffering, this maybe so we can talk a little more later, but just first to get the kind of good understanding the nature of suffering, other suffering, the suffering of change, all the temporary happiness is suffering of change. Maybe you got that today as a good meaning of the pervasive suffering, isn't it? Yeah. Otherwise, we are wondering what is the pervasive suffering. Suffering of physical, mental pain. That's we know. Whatever suffering arises, this all. Sometimes physically suffering, mentally suffering, like this. So we just see matter on this. Any place we go, and that's it. Nature of suffering, not free from suffering. Of course, there are some temporarily, some places better than others. Meeting different people. But there's no absolute happiness. None of these different types of suffering is not independent. They have not manifest without cause conditions. It's all manifest through many causes and conditions. The main cause of this all is ignorance, confusion. Ignorance is like a darkness which obscures the clarity of the mind. But if we investigate what that ignorance is, there's no, we cannot find what that is. There's no substantial thing, the ignorance, just a habitual tendency. Shantideva said, Nyama Shrab Mekese, Thailand, Kando Dawakos, no, this ignorance is just one afflictive emotion. It's just which is nothing. It can just only dispelled by the wisdom, eye. If you dispel, if you just see it, there's no ignorance exist. There's no something ignorance, this ignorance throughout, Just need a strength, awareness. Need some perseverance, patience, and practice. So through the confusion, the ignorance manifests all the different types of the confused neurosis manifests. Countless, infinite number. Due to that, then these countless different types of suffering manifest, rise. So, so knowing all the causes, knowing the 10 non-virtues, what are the 10 non-virtues, what the result of those 10 non-virtues, knowing all this, and what the 10 virtues, result of the 10 virtues. When we know these well, so there are some person, as I earlier mentioned, that a person who has a less capacity, ability, so they have an ability just to study, practice Dharma, to reborn back to as a human being, God realms. That's called less. Person who has a less capacity. And a person who has a mediocre capacity is seeing entire samsara is natural suffering. So I must make effort to free from that. Then to attend. Have no ability to cultivate the great bodhicitta for the benefit of all sentient beings. But at least I must make effort myself to free from samsara. Making effort that and has the quality to free from the samsara, and attend the arhats, Sharavaka arhats, Partiputa arhat. It's called a mediocre person who has a capacity, but a mediocre person. Then on above this, it's not just only me who are suffering in the samsara, but every sentient beings in the samsara, they are suffering. And we all are connected to each other. I'm not an independent person. Depends on all other sentient beings' support. Like to survive myself, to sustain my life, depends on many other sentient beings' support. Without the other sentient beings' support, I cannot sustain my life, survive my life. This is we are all sustaining each other, our life, because of the cooperation of all sentient beings. These all sentient beings in the samsara, they are confused, they are ignorant. They are all influenced by the afflictive emotion, the glaciers. So developing such great compassion, loving kindness, and develop bodhicitta. There's not just only me, no, who are suffering. So I must make effort to attain Buddhahood for all the sentient beings. So with this mind, making effort in our spiritual Dharma study practice, that's called the person who has a supreme capacity, great being. So these are the three different types of the person. Understand, isn't it? No. Yeah. The lesser person, or lesser is called capacity person. Maybe lesser capacity person. That's been better, isn't it? Lesser capacity person, mediocre capacity person, supreme capacity person. So these study, practice, detail are taught in the Kadamba lineage. So the jewel ornament of liberation mentioned in the precious human life chapter there. So we recognize this, what this means, and study them and practice. So it's the subject of precious human life, the subject of suffering of samsara, the subject of karma cause. It's a big, big subject. These are the really, which is a study of entire samsara. You know, what different types of suffering is there in a samsara? All the details, you know. And there's all sufferings are experienced momentarily in impermanence. And that all sufferings manifest through the cause and conditions. So entire samsara can study in this subject. And to free from this samsara, then practice of loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta, the path. Then train our mind, you know. So what he here said, we cultivate on the base on these four foundations. They said, four. On the base on this, we have the four immeasurable prayers. As yesterday we touched a little bit on this subject. May all mother sentient beings, boundless the sky, have happiness and causes of happiness. Kind of sincerely develop. Sometimes we may not feel special. It's just intellectual. But look at our own suffering. Look at our own happiness. When we have some peace, some happiness, what kind of feeling is there? So every sentient being wants to have that kind of feeling. So from there, it's very helpful. All person who is most close to us, our parents, or friends, or relatives, whatever, whoever, when they have some happiness, some peace, we appreciate, or we feel sad happiness as they have. And sometimes you feel so good because they are so happy. Isn't it? If you are suffering, when they are happy, so, oh, I'm so happy, they are so happy. I'm so happy because they are so happy. So like that mind just pervades all sentient beings. That's one way also. When they are suffering, you don't feel good either. I feel so bad because they are suffering. So sometimes you, so if I have enough power to take their suffering on me, but I don't have, so you feel bad more, I cannot take their suffering, so I feel so bad. So you make so much effort. Sometimes your suffering is small. You feel more bad when they're suffering. So I can tolerate my suffering, But what should I do when they're suffering? So we wish so much, make all our effort to free them from their suffering. So that what the next is, they may be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. We make every effort to free them from the suffering. So that just our mind just need to be more open for every sentient being. Because every sentient beings, they want to free from suffering. As do that person most close to us. Sometimes we may say, I have no connection with all sentient beings, but I do have this person, But it's just a matter of time, matter of length of time. It's like, if this person right now who's most close to us, sometime if that person becomes enemy, then you won't feel that. But another person who has been your enemy and became most close to you, you feel that, So it's just a matter of time. Basically, this way, all sentient beings will have connection. So therefore, that just opened in our heart, entire sentient beings, and meditate that way. So this way, next is the feeling of joy, equanimity, but first two are very important. First is may all mother sentient beings, boundless the sky, have happiness and causes of the practice of loving kindness. And second, may they be liberated from suffering, the cause of suffering, compassion. These two are very important for the put your process. When we have these two, a good practice, next other two will come more easily. So on the base on this, then it's not just enough thinking of to have happiness or friendship and causes, to free from suffering and causes of suffering. Truly to have practically reality to experience happiness, free from sufferings, have to attain Buddhahood, enlightenment. Therefore, you cultivate bodhicitta, the mind of enlightenment, the first aspiration, bodhicitta. Then, the action, bodhicitta.
study them, practice them. So first, so in order to practice the training of the mind, so these are the facets very important to proceed, to build the field, why we should train the mind, or practice the mind. So this is called prerequisite. Just a few subjects brought together the essence as a foundation. So every session, first we cultivate the two bodhicittas, aspiration bodhicitta and action bodhicitta. So with bodhicitta mind, then so I have this precious human life. I can come back to it, without wasting this precious human life. Or to bring a meaning, or to be meaningful of this precious human life, that I must do something, make effort. So to bring meaning in this life, the practice of bodhicitta is most important. And bodhicitta, as yesterday also I mentioned briefly, our very nature of the mind is bodhicitta. We are not creating something that which we don't have, but we are making effort to manifest that, to reveal that what we have. The Buddha nature is the bodhicitta. Yet, where our mind is so obscured, this bodhicitta to delusions, afflictive emotions, so it takes a lot of time to bring it, to reveal it. So, with the help of these precious teaching, with the help of the wisdom light of these teachings, and we get the understanding and make effort. So we need willpower, we need determination, strength of the mind. Instead of mind become fragile, we need to build a strength in the mind. Otherwise, sometimes through this spiritual practice, our mind becomes fragile. How it happens? For example, like saying prayers, reciting mantras, to dispel this offering. If you say this prayer, dispel this obstacle. If you say this prayer, and this is dispelled. No obstacles, no hindrances. And to free from these different types of obstacles, different types of suffering. And we do some practices. And we expect this will do that. Then in that way, I think sometimes we become so fragile. Because we become so fragile through the study, practice of this meditation, when that didn't work, then we blame them. I did this practice,
I got more obstacles. I did this practice, I got a kind of worse, And so before I started the spiritual practice, I was fine, no problem. Now I started this, all the classes manifest, So why I should practice this? So that makes because of these expectations, we become so fragile, become very sensitive, more strength. Still, sometimes happens, not everyone. So we should do it other way around. Build more strength. Willpower. As earlier mentioned, seeing of the preciousness, rarity of the opportunity. So this bodhicitta, as I mentioned, the backbone of the Buddhism. The highway of the Buddhahood. So we all make effort in the persistent way, put in the emphasis of the bodhicitta practice. For every moment we just practice. As earlier mentioned that even though I have this precious human life, but this life we don't know when. There's not much time left. Next life will follow into the the course of virtue and non-virtue. So for the virtue and non-virtue, practicing bodhicitta is the principal virtue. There's no more profound practice than bodhicitta. To free myself and all sentient being, and the principal part is the bodhicitta. All just we bring into the emphasis of bodhicitta. And then to that, so we to achieve that quality, we train the mindset. Well, sometimes maybe say you are tired of this mind training. So I train many times, it doesn't work. Or it's just my mind is same, no change, no progress. That is so sometimes think maybe this method doesn't work for me. But we shouldn't see that way. Just see this is the continuation of my habitual tendency of the samsara. Read the life story of great masters like Milarepa. Oh no. There's one story I repeatedly tell about Asanga, who practiced to see Buddha Maitreya. So like those. Read their life stories. But they practice repeatedly. So life stories are very helpful. It said the life stories of the previous great master are the actual path of the practitioner. They went through. We read what they went through. And that becomes our path, how we go through. Okay, so these are some brief about the prerequisite, the foundation of our Lojong practice. Where we are studying, we do the practice too, isn't it? Okay. Yeah, first, if you have some need some clarification. Yes.
So you have been talking about the impermanence, about suffering, about happiness. It could be that the main key
Main key of what?
to understand or to break that pattern of get so wrapped into suffering or to happiness or to expectation is understanding causes and conditions. Is the studying and understanding causes and conditions are going to allow us to break that pattern of
Yes. Yeah, first important. So Buddha taught Four Noble Truths. Okay, you know that. Buddha taught Four Noble Truths. He says, many sheja. Like when we get sick, first we have to know what type of sickness we have. Isn't that? Before we get the medication, you have to know your sickness. Okay. Then we have to know what's the cause of sickness. Okay. Once we know what type of sickness that is and what the cause of that is, then we have to medicate. Okay. You have to take the medicine. So through the proper medication, there's hope to free from that sickness, So similar, the Four Noble Truths, we said first you have to know the suffering. Because knowing the well about the suffering, instead of free from suffering, maybe we make more suffering. So that's why, as I put some little more emphasis this time, the pervasive suffering. Other sufferings are easier to know, So then the cause of suffering in the samsara, See, these are important to know. Once we know it, and then we know how to free from that.
So the causes and conditions, we go to and understand that we can really get free from suffering or happiness.
That's right.
Or the right thing and it's like to understand the same causes and conditions than karma lama.
Yes, it's karma. Karma is a cause. Karma is cause. Mida 동에 똥 다음에 mida 동에 똥봐 다음에 봐. The suffering is impermanent. Suffering has no self. Suffering is nature of empty. Gyudang kunjung raji jen cause all sorts of suffering. Gyudang kunjung, the condition of suffering. Gyudang kunjung raji jen, from which that rises. These are different synonym, synonym. So we can say condition, we say cause, the source of suffering, the suffering from which manifests. So these are, we should know it, we should know them, and then we have to make effort to stop creating this,
So like the middle path is like the practice and the study.
Yes.
Not one, not the other.
Yeah, both. Yeah, both, yes. Yes. 방자신 내내 시자 내내잖아 방자신 내내 된자. Yes.
Just speak about Atisha.
Atisha was around in 10th century, a great master in the Nalanda Institute. Nalanda was the great university institute in India, the northern India. Now if you go, you just see a big ruins, and the wall of that institute is so big, it's amazing. They built at that time. Nalanda Institute that time lasted 2nd century, from 2nd century, 3rd, 4th, the 10th, 11th, even 12th, 13th, 14th century, I think, one of the largest university in the world, I think. It's like Nagarjuna, Naropa, most great, scholars, masters, kind of came from there. Atisha. So Atisha was he was born in the Calcutta area, I think. He was born there in such a high class family. Then he started practicing, and then he joined to another university, and he became such a great scholar, and he studied so much. And then he feels, maybe I know everything, But then in the dream comes some Dakini gives some special text. Please read this. Can you understand that? And he reads. He doesn't understand. Oh, I have to study more. So like that, push him to study so much, and he becomes great scholar. And then he was looking different teachers here and there, receiving teachings also. So many teachers here. And finally, he put so much emphasis on the bodhicitta practice. Then he was looking and investigating who has this bodhicitta teachings, lineage. Then he heard one lineage teacher and singing